Okay, just a quick recap really to start with. What are the pressures on the business to change? We've had a lot of presentations today talking about improving the customer experience. How is it that your customers want to interface to your organisation? We've got numerous different ways of communicating: mobile phone, tablet, internet from your PC at home. We've got the social media, Facebook and Twitter. All these demand new ways of interfacing with your organisation. 24/7, they want information pushed to them. They don't just want to go out searching for it. The question is your organisation ready to deal with that? And the answer is, in part. So there's a pressure to change that we need to adapt to. Otherwise, if we don't adapt, the competition will. And we've got to take the initiative on this in order to move forward. Not only are the customer needs changing, your employee needs and expectations are changing as well. Have you ever come across the situation where at home they have a PC and access to applications that they don't have at work? Do you find that they're starting to demand the same functionality they have access to at home within the organisation? Why can't I use this? This would speed up this. Why can't I do that? So there's a pressure building up on your organisations to change. And you want a change that will improve customer loyalty and a change that will deliver benefit. The big question, the one that causes sleepless nights, is, but how do I pay for it? If you're expecting me to give you an easy answer to that, there isn't really one. It depends. And it depends what that change is and the scope of that within your organisation. Where are you starting from? Where do you want to end up? And with customer experience, it's not just really a case of, well, I'm here and I want to get to here. I want to get to there and I want to get to there. And it's a continual process. We've seen that cycle of improvement. And you want to sort out the right way of doing that. When it comes to a particular project, you'll go through the standard: I'll generate my business case, I'll look at the return on investment, I'll look at the cash flow analysis, I'll start looking at, what's the cost of money to deliver that? And you want to find something that will fit your particular requirements from where you're starting to where you intend to get to, not just now, not just in a year, but in 5, possibly 10 years down the line. So how do I pay for it? You may have seen this model before: design, transition, operate, improve. It's the standard ITIL model for service development. And what we're talking about here is change is a process, a continual process. Traditionally, we've just had, let's deal with it as a project, single one-off project, capital purchase, we deliver the technology and that's it. Well, improving customer satisfaction, improving customer loyalty is not just a one-off event, it's a series, a programme of projects, all delivering that end goal of improved customer loyalty, improved return on investment, improved profitability. Siemens can offer you a range. Greg alluded to it earlier on. 50% of our business is from managed services. 50% of our business is taking over functions that were traditionally held within your organisations and saying, we can do it cheaper. We can do it more effectively to leave you to focus on your core competencies. So managed service, traditionally, they were 100% revenue payments, whereby you paid a monthly fee to an organisation for them to deliver your IT. But actually, the truth is somewhere possibly in between. Siemens is very flexible in the way that it addresses commercial propositions. If you want to purchase the equipment, we're quite happy to sell it to you and provide us with a big cheque for that service. If, however, you'd like to pay over a period of time, we can accommodate that as well. And we can build into that a whole range of other services and capabilities. Managed service can be the total outsource model that's been talked about, or it could be, we actually want to retain skills in this particular area, and we want to you as an organisation to deliver this task and this task, and we'll keep the rest. We're quite happy to talk about that. We're quite happy to work with that and find something that just meets your requirements. Another thing is, in terms of managed service, the duration of managed service contracts can be 5, 7, 10, 15. We've seen some recently at 25 years. We're flexible to deliver a service that meets your particular timelines, your particular schedules. Particularly within the rail industry, you have franchises which you bid for. we can tailor our managed service provisions to the length of those franchises such that we can give you the ideal solution for where you are. It's about packaging it to meet your individual requirements. Maybe that you can get funding cheaper than we can get funding, in which case we use your funding. We're not proud. We will deliver the best service for you. But let's have a look at some payment profiles for some of our customers. This is just an example of 5 different customers and the payment profiles. Havering NHS Trust, first one, just a flat revenue payment out each month, they pay for the service. General Motors, we provide a global managed service for General Motors. An interesting payment profile, starts off high at the beginning and works its way down to very little at the end. Essex County Council, this one is very much, Essex decided that they wanted to pay for the infrastructure at the beginning and then they wanted a low level of revenue payments. We can accommodate that. That revenue payment could include all sorts of different options. It could include just the break-fix managed service that Greg was talking about. It could include more than that. It could include the fact that we automatically upgrade your technology with all the latest software updates and we keep you up to date. Moving on to Department for Transport at the bottom. Nice low payment profile and then ramping up at the end with a balloon payment at the end. We don't mind, it depends what suits you and suits your organisation. BP is an interesting payment profile. Very, very low payments at the beginning, then a spike, then a slightly higher one and decreasing at the end. The reason for that was a walk-in takeover of their existing service. We moved in, we refreshed the infrastructure and they wanted to pay for that as and when the refresh happened. So we transformed their organisation and then there was a continual revenue payment to support them going forward. Those revenue payments going forward could include technology refreshes, could include a budget assigned in order to support new changes to your business. You might think, well, there's something coming up. I'm not quite sure what it is, but in the next 10 years, we're going to have to do this to change, to keep up to date. We can actually build that funding in so that you have a pot of money building to support that change. You know it's going to happen, you're just not sure when. And we can work with you to actually fund that. And the funding requirements can vary depending on, your particular organisation, when you expect the return on your investment. There's lots of options. I think the main thing that's coming out is the better we understand your organisation, your commercial requirements, your returns, the better we can actually plan to deliver you the ideal solution. A range of things. It's limitless. You tell us what you would like and we'll find a way of delivering it. So it's not just a technology solution, it's a commercial solution. We talked about managed services. This is very much where we can provide infrastructure into your organisation to allow you to deliver communications. And then you pay us back for that service. You can do it on a capital purchase requirement whereby you pay for the equipment that we install and then you just pay as a revenue fee for the ongoing service of that. So managed service, we talked about KPIs. Greg mentioned KPIs when we were looking at this. We can tailor the KPIs specific to your organisation, specific to the requirements which are being placed on you by your shareholders and by your customers, such that we can deliver a service that meets precisely what you need. There's ways of doing it that allow you to have that infrastructure owned by us, owned by you, hosted by us in your environment or outside that environment. We can provide it on a price per port basis where you pay for only the facilities and features that your users require. Again, it depends on your specific requirements, but we can tailor our propositions so that you just pay for what you need. And we can give you flexible pricing over the term of the contract such that you can plan forward for any changes that are happening in your business. Hosted service, I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago. Hosted service is where we provide from central infrastructure services to your organisation. With the move to IP, no longer do you require equipment in lots of different places around your networks. It can be hosted in a central data centre. And that data centre could be off-site. It could be owned by us with your equipment in it, or it could be owned by us with our equipment, and we just sell you the service from that, and then you pay us for the facilities that you use. Or it could even be in the cloud. We're starting to move into cloud-based services where you just pay effectively from an internet connection. And this just applies to lots of features and functionality, not just telephone features and functionality, it's contact centre functions and functionality. You'll find that we can start to provide you the services which traditionally you could only get in-house from a central service as and when you require it. Gives you flexibility in case of disaster recovery. We can pipe services into your organisation to cope with that sudden demand, that sudden increase. If a building is affected by, say, fire and you need to redeploy, we can quickly squirt communication services into a different building or a different functional centre. But it's not just about paying for services. We've mentioned also you can generate revenue from the infrastructure that you have procured from Siemens. One of the functions within our OpenScape solutions is multi-tenancy. It's great if you, say, own an airport and you have lots of retail shops within that and you want to provide them with functionality. You can sell them spare capacity on your central service to generate revenue from them to provide them with additional functionality and features all hosted off your solution. So generating revenue from tenants. And the way it's structured allows you to give them all the reporting they need so that they can deal with their precise reporting requirements, how they charge their departments. All of that can be dealt with from that central functionality. We talked a little bit about gadgets. I don't think we actually referred to gadgets earlier on by name, but gadget is where you have a software application. We looked at that with regard to the airport functionality, whereby we could tell a user onto their phone by a message, SMS message, please go to gate 7, your plane is just about to leave. And that sort of functionality we can deploy from that central communications infrastructure linked into your organisation's IT infrastructure and business systems to provide that messaging. It becomes a hub for communications. And we can provide you that on a license-based service, on a per usage. We can look at different ways that you can start adding value to your customers through the use of gadgets. So lots of things we can do. I think the main thing that comes out is, what do you need? We can find a way of doing it and find a way of commercially packaging that to meet your requirements. So just before we go off to lunch, summarising, when it comes to commercial propositions, we can be as flexible as you need us to be. But in order for us to give you the best solution, we really need to sit around a table and talk about what are the commercial pressures on your organisation and what can we do to help you and find the best solution to fit your requirements. Thank you very much.